Shalom, brothers and sisters. I hope you had a good night and you're having a good morning. Today I'm going to give you a very interesting Bible scripture, and it's very interesting and very fascinating. And I'll also give you examples from the Bible connecting to that scripture, and you will really find it interesting, I promise you. The Bible, the word that I want us to look at is from the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16 to 18. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16 to 18. It's a very interesting one scripture that says, Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore, be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Other Bible versions usually say, be as cunning as a snake and as innocent as a dove. This scripture has always been interesting to me, because I've always thought about it, and I never got to understand what it meant. What does it mean to be as cunning as a snake and as harmless as a dove? I really thought about this for like a whole year, and I just got the answers to this question this year. And the answers are from the Bible. Very interesting ones. Very interesting ones. The first one I would like us to look at is in the book of Genesis chapter 20 verse 2. This is a time when Abraham was living in the southern part of Canaan amongst Egyptians. And these people were I think they are very serious people, they are very dangerous people. So Abraham knew that his wife was very beautiful. If you read the book of Genesis chapter 20 verse 2, you'll understand the whole story. He knew that his wife was very beautiful, and if these people knew that Sarah was his wife, they would kill him, then take her. So he had to be smart. He told his wife that if anybody asks you who I am to you, tell them that you are my sister and I am your brother. That is the first time I got the first answer to this question, to these instructions. I am sending you about among wolves, be as cunning as a serpent and as innocent as a dove. That is the first scripture that brought a little understanding to me about what it means to be as cunning as a serpent and as innocent as a dove. The next scripture that made me understand what it meant to be as cunning as a snake and as innocent as a dove was the story of who is this? Was the story of Jacob. Now, Jacob is a very interesting story, because if you read the book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 25, it's a little bit long, but it goes to verse 25 to 31. It's a very interesting story. I'm not going to read through it, but let me just give you a short summary about it. Jacob was working for his uncle Laban. Then after some time, he told his uncle that now, give me my wages and my wife, because I've worked for them, and I would like to go and look for my own interest. And Laban said, I have sought out through divination, and I've realized that I've been blessed because of you. The Lord has blessed me because of you. So name your price, whatever you want, and I will give it to you. So Jacob told Laban, now, what we are going to do, let me work for you for another period of time, but then allow me to take all the striped animals that will be born during the next period that I will be with you. Then that will be my wage. If after that time you find that I have taken an animal that is not striped is our nyama wako na lines yani, then just know that I have stolen from you. Laban did a very interesting thing. He took all the male away from the female. Then he took all, I think it was the goats. If you read the book of Genesis chapter 30 verse 25 to 31, it will give you the whole story. If you have time, just look at that. So Laban took all the stripped animals away, and then he left the unstripped ones. And then the one that was stripped, he took and put them under his children and told them to go. I think he went with them very far away for 3 days. Then he left Jacob with animals that were not stripped. Are you seeing that trick? Jacob says, I want to be paid with stripped animals. Laban takes away all the stripped animals. Now, what does Jacob do? Jacob goes ahead and while these animals were taking water, he would take, there is this tree called, there's these green branches of a poplar, almond, and plain trees, and stripped off some bark of it so that the branches had white stripes on them. So he would leave these trees close to the water where the animals would drink. So when they go to drink, they would see themselves as striped. And he would allow these animals to mate around that area. So through this, they would produce stripped animals. Are you seeing how cunning Jacob was? So Laban tricked him, but this guy had to come up with another way of ensuring that he gets stripped animals as his wages. By the time Laban came back, this guy had a lot of stripped animals, and Laban was surprised. I took away all the stripped animals. How come this guy